So we're going to begin talking about angle properties, and today should be, hopefully, a review of these properties. We are going to go through these very quickly. You will have assignments on Education Perfect, and you must go through them very quickly because we're going to be then moving into new territory. All right? So today, hopefully, it should be review. So again, we're going to go through these very quickly. You do not have to write down every piece of this if you know it. Remember, this is the revision part, but it might not do you any harm to write down at least some key phrases, some key words, so that you understand what's going on. I am not going to take very many notes or write very many notes. I'm going to underline and circle some things, though, that I think that you really need to know. All right? You ready? Here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what are called common angles. If they're common, that means that they occur when? All over the place. There you go. That's close enough. So here, remember that an angle is created when you have two arms which meet at a point, and that point is called the vertex. Excellent. It's arms and vertex. And those arms are lines or line segments. Now, remember we talked about that. If it has a definite end and point, then they are line segments. If it has an arrow on one end, it's called not a line, but a ray. And if it goes in two different directions forever, then it's a line. Right? Remember that?
Can you repeat that whole thing again? I don't know what that
Line segment, ray, and line. It should be in your notes from a previous lesson. Yes, it's in a previous lesson. Okay, now, the unit of measurement that we use for measuring angles are called what? Degrees. And it's based on a circle, and if you go all the way around a circle, it's how many degrees? 360. And remember, that phrase, full circle, is very important, right? Okay? Okay, not going to happen. So here's a picture showing you all the pieces, right? Guys, hello. Notice that inside you have that little curved part. That means that they're measuring the angle on the inside, right? That little curved line means that that's where you're measuring the angle, because you can also measure it on the outside, which you'll see in a moment. Okay, there you go. So that runs into your homework. You're going to do that yourself. All right, we've also talked a little bit about angles that have 90 degrees are called what?
Right angles.
Right angles. Excellent. Okay, so it makes a perfect square. Straight line angles are called straight angles, and their measurement is what? 180 degrees. Good. So there you go. There's an example of a straight line. Okay. Not right. He turned backwards and it's still going in the same straight line. You're going to have to identify some of those. Okay. Now, if you look at this one, are they measuring the angle on the inside or the outside? The outside. And this one is measured, if you measured that one with a protractor, you would see that it's 270 degrees. They have a specific name when they're measured on the outside. Does anybody remember what it is? Reflex angles. Excellent. Good. Okay. You gotta have some animals going on. A full circle. So if you start, see this? Right. There you go. You went all the way around. That's what that circle at the end tells you. That means you went a full revolution. There. Don't forget. 360 means a full revolution. Like the drum there. We're not watching her. Okay. All right. You're going to have a section where you're going to have to not only recognize, but draw a few angles. So drawing a few angles, you're going to have to just drawing them on there. Don't worry about that. I'm probably not going to assign that one.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
You like that? You guys, come on. All right. Angles can be identified and named. They're through different types of angles. Remember, the different types of angles are acute, which means what? Smaller than 90 degrees. Obtuse, which means what? Bigger than 90 degrees. Reflex, which means
big.
bigger than 180. So obtuse is really bigger than 90, but smaller than what? 180. And then reflex is above 180.
It's an upside
Okay.
down Mr. Cell.
Okay.
Would a right angle count as an obtuse or
Now it's a special angle on its own. So it's a right
what
angle.
about 180 degrees? Is that an
That's a
obtuse?
straight angle. Yeah. Those two are special.
This is stupid.
They're special.
I've had Ivan's.
Okay. You are special. All right. So here you go. 14 degrees is what? Acute. 72? 43? Yeah, they're all less than 90. There you go. Okay. Also the duck.
Why is the camera upside down now?
I haven't any idea. Obtuse angles are bigger than 90 degrees, but less than 180. I haven't any idea why the cat's upside down. I guess it's showing you that the orientation doesn't matter. It's still a cat. Okay. Reflex angles are between 180 and what? 360. And notice reflex angles, the measurement's always taken on the outside of the angle, right? It's bigger than the inside. Okay? And there you go. Cute, tiny, or ugly. If I see ugly on your test, I'm not going to be happy with you. There you go. All right. Now, we typically measure a law. We typically measure angles using a device called a protractor. Yes. And so we're going to just a protractor. Protractor. And that's all right. I've got millions of them. So, but in Education Perfect, they give you one anyway, so you're not going to have to worry about it. But I just want you to be aware of how to do it so that you know how it works. Okay? So, here's your protractor. Oh, that's a terrible joke. All right. Remember that as you look at a protractor, the protractor has numbers that start on either side. So if you start over here, you'll notice that it goes up 10, 20, 30, 40, etc., all the way around to 180. But notice there's smaller numbers underneath that start at 0 on this side and go the other direction. So you can measure using either direction depending on which way your angle's going. So if your angle's like this, then I want to use the orange line. Okay? Because this is on the bottom. This is like the base or on the ground. Right? Okay? And you're going to see some different examples. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah. This is all review. Yeah, this is all review. So you hopefully, yes. Hopefully you did a great deal of this last year. Okay. So when you put the vertex on, there's usually a little hole. If there's not a little hole, there's a little cross. And that's where you put the, what's it called?
Middle of vertex.
Called the vertex. And you must make sure that, guys, come on. You must make sure that the line, the bottom line of your angle lines up with this side or this side. Not the bottom of the protractor, but the bottom of the measures, right? Because if you have it lined up there, you know that it's a straight line because it's 180 degrees, yeah? Okay, make sure to use it correctly. All right, here you go. So there you are. So you see that this one you measure up, that's about 115 degrees, okay? No, why?
Because I was measuring out.
There you go. You remember, you have to pay attention to which way you're measuring. Our angle here actually goes to about 75 degrees. So make sure you're careful about which one you're using. You have both numbers, the large numbers and the small numbers. Okay? This one's going the other direction, so you write it in read it the other way. Right? They have these numbers circled for you so you know which set of numbers to use. Be careful. If it's a big obtuse angle, right? Here's the flat part. It's going to sit on 0, and it's going to continue all the way around. Notice that you can't measure an angle that's more than 180. Okay, so we need to talk about that. So there's a video. There's a video on there. Yeah, there is a circle one. Okay. Okay, you betcha. So those reflex angles you can still measure using.
Oh, that's so cute.
You can still measure using the same protractor, the half protractor. Okay, all right. So, but for reflex angles, notice your protractor is not big enough, guys. Your protractor is not big enough to measure around anything bigger than 180 degrees. So what you'll do is, notice that your circle is on the outside. That means that's what you want to measure. That's what you want the measurement of. You can measure the inside and simply subtract it from what? 360, right? The full circle would be 360. So you measure the smaller one, find out what you do know, and simply subtract it from 360. Okay? So here they measured it using the middle of the protractor. They found out that it's 90 degrees. Okay? Make sure you put your both arms inside the protractor. Don't try to turn it upside down. Which means that if the inside is 90 degrees, the rest of it has to be the 270, so that because it's 360 minus. Remember that? So sometimes you might have to subtract. Okay?
Yeah, I remember that.
Good. I'm glad. Whatever your name is.
Whatever
All right.
my name is, you know who I am, hopefully.
I do now, but I didn't earlier. Okay, here we go. All right? And there's also a full circle protractor. We don't have any of those, so I'm not showing you. If you have one of your own, you can.
How many imperfect perfects are we giving?
This is the last one.
We're getting like 5.
All right, here we go. Now, in this lesson, we're going to talk about just estimating, right? If you look at an angle, you can give a pretty good estimate of the size of it, right? So just remember acute, obtuse, reflex, etc. Acute? Oh, acute. So, estimate the size of the angle below. Is it smaller than 90 degrees? No. Is it 90 degrees? No. Is it 180 degrees? No. Therefore, it's obtuse somewhere between that. And if you think about the fact that if it was a right angle, that'd be 90 degrees. So that's about what?
135.
Okay. Well, if you look at it, it looks like about divided into thirds, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And each part of that is 45 degrees, isn't it?
Yeah, so I said 135.
So, yeah. So we got about 90 and 45. So about 135. Do you have to be exact? No, because it's an estimate. Exactly. Just get as close as you can. Do not write 90 degrees on that, though. That's not close enough. Don't write 180. To write something in between. And in this case, it's exactly halfway
What if we
between.
get like 40 and it's actually
That's what I said.
36?
Hey, that's bigger than what?
It's fine.
Oh, no, that's
Don't worry
what
about it.
he said.
Okay? All right. Okay, so you can estimate sizes. We're not watching that video. Okay? So there's several of them where you're going to estimate the size. All right? So, how does all of that look to you? Familiar?
Yes.
Nothing new there?
Nothing really, no.
Good job. Well, then we'll stop the video.